Welcome. Another drive with the John Wick of politics, huh? So we'll pile in, we'll do a short scope. Once again, talking about whether or not accountability is alive, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg's alive. How about some accountability? Is that going to be alive? No, I think accountability, particularly in social media, is dead. I mean, this is just another perfect example of people painting pictures that are just entirely made up of falsitudes and fallacies, and it's not done simply for the fantastical nature of sharing rumors and conspiracies. It's done to shill. It's shilling in the name of MAGA. It's shilling in the name of Q. And it just never stops. It never ends until people step up and fight it, because how much are you going to take of this stuff? Because it ridicules not only the people that perpetuate these rumors, it ridicules and humiliates all of us as Trump supporters every time people in the movement get caught up in these truth traps. Speaking truth to conspiracy is just as important as the nature of getting conspiracies out against truth to power. So that's the mission, the job that we've tuned into, rather than spreading shotgun efforts all around. We kind of surgically decided to train our assets, our MAGA coalition, into agents of truth, so that people out there who legitimately want to just explore both sides, I get it. Don't want to unfollow people that just put out these ridiculous things. That's cool. But we want to know that when we go to sleep at night, we have put out something that people can come back and look at and say, okay, oh, that's what's really happening. So I think it's important to have both sides of the issue discussed. So, was RBG ever in dire critical health? The answer to that is probably yes. But does that, in and of itself, something that we should speculate on and get people all rattled and saber rattling on this thing? No, the answer to that is no, because the clerk network system tied to the lawyers networks in Washington are pretty gossipy in their own right. So we all kind of went through that with the Kennedy retirement speculation, and all I had to do was maintain the same relationships and contacts that I had with some in the Republican lawyers network, because they had already had conversations with people that worked inside the Supreme Court. So there was always going to be slight speculation about the timing, but we were pretty sure that was going to happen, and we were pretty sure about the timing of it too. And you can go back and check all that, and maybe I'll have Glenn pull some video of us discussing the timing and the nature of Anthony Kennedy's leaving the court. So we kind of use that as the barometer, the metric, the water of time over the last 3-4 weeks, where there was any existential danger that RBG was going to be meeting her demise under any normal diagnostic conditions. So the people that were perpetuating this nonsense are all just going to move the goalposts or ignore it completely. So I want to know, in the spirit of the question of my scope title, are people who speculated openly that RBG was dead for some reason, like, I have no idea how people thought RBG was going to be dead and miss an entire year. It doesn't make any sense. it doesn't make any sense there, because we would still have a year left to nominate another justice. So really it would just be about the current decisions in front of the court, and there's nothing that would make them fake the death or somehow fake the live status of a judge, or whether she's life or death. So it's all kind of ridiculous. None of it made sense. And now my question to you is, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Nancy Pelosi, anyone with a Hollywood blue checkmark Twitter account that assailed the MAGA hat-wearing, Trump-supporting people in this country when Jussie Smollett, and I don't call him Jussie Smollett because Glenn and I agree that that's just ridiculous. So Jussie Smollett is what we call him. Are they're going to react to the news that this is a total hoax, including the letter that he sent to himself to the studio, that this thing is a total hoax perpetuated to attack the spirit of making America great again, and anyone who would back the president in an inflamed racial tension, inflamed racial anti-LGBTQTZY, whatever, anti-gay sentiments, that he had a launching pad to do that, and he took it, and he roped in his good buddy Kamala Harris, and now it's out of control, and now they're all kind of like hemming and hawing, and they don't know what to say. How are they any different than the people in our side of the movement who swear that RBG was dead? They found death records, and they weren't even searching the right name, not knowing that her first name is Joan Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and the whole notion of her being in a coma, and the Democrats are going to keep her in a coma for, a year and a half or more so that Trump can't appoint. I mean, you have to suspend disbelief past the point of what a normal person could possibly entertain doing. And now my concern is this seems to be a de facto response for all of our conspiracy-oriented people in our movement, is to say, oh well. I don't trust the Democrats anyway. Whether or not she's there doesn't really matter. And they'll just move on to the next conspiracy. We're no different. Those people who say that in our movement are no different than the people who are going to ignore and not apologize and take no accountability for the Jussie Smollett bullshit. So before everybody gets their moral superiority complex about this stuff, and they take their aha moment about Jussie and the hoax, that's all well and good. I mean, I'm taking my bite out of the apple on that one too, because that stuff cannot be tolerated. That absolutely cannot be tolerated. Denigrating an entire movement of support behind a sitting president over a fake, entirely concocted hate crime. The status on that is definitely red alert. I mean, that is something that we all have to come out and repudiate that thing, and come back out and fight it on social media. That's all well and good. At the same time, I think if we want to be taken seriously, we should also be able to own up to the crazy people in our own movement, own up to the accountability that not only is it ridiculous to speculate and openly, in some cases, wish for the death of an elderly woman who sits on the court. That's ridiculous. And nature will take its course, and I think we have an odds-on chance, one way or another, of replacing her before the election in 2020. It's a long way away. Certainly some serious health issues there. But I'm not going to speculate on it any further. When and if I hear anything from the clerks through the lawyers' networks, we'll be the first to know. I mean, serious people will have serious information. So do yourself a favor, if you're following the crazy people, you might want to just check yourself a little bit. But if you want to know what the crazy people are saying, follow them. It's going to be our job to get on here. And I know that we're going to have like a third of the people listening to us that are listening to the crazy people talk. No kidding. I know that. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me how many views any of these things get. It's basically my job to entertain whether or not the latest conspiracies have any validation whatsoever. And often I am stuck in the unenviable position of having to call serious people and ask them ridiculous questions just because things have taken a foothold in crazy ways. And that's my job, and I have to deal with it, and I get a lot of sighs and eye rolls from people who don't really believe that it's worth answering that question when I call them or when I see them. So, but that's okay. That's part of my job. So, but the other part of my job is monitoring accountability. Accountability doesn't stop. It doesn't begin and end with your enemies. Accountability is something that, in order to be taken seriously, you have to embrace accountability in your own movement as well as call it out on the other side, on the Democrat, liberal, crazy, progressive side. They're just as crazy over there as we have crazy in our movement. But I'm concerned that these dilly types are just damaging the credibility, the Vander scams constantly. I mean, the latest is, right-wing watch. I don't like right-wing watch. Nobody should like them. They're ridiculous people. But granted, they cherry-pick these video clips of Ann Vander scam talking to some crazy guy saying that he believes there's a legitimate chance that the Muslim representative congresswoman from Minnesota may in fact end up being a terrorist cell and might strap a bomb to her chest and blow Congress up. I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't bode well for us at all. It is not something we should be dabbling in. It's ridiculous. I'm embarrassed for them. And so it's no fun, I guess, to call people out all the time. But frankly, if I'm wrong about anything, I am certainly willing to own up to it. If you bring it to my attention, something even that I said a year ago that was blatantly wrong, please don't hesitate to bring it up. Let me know what that is. I will own up to it. If I say something that is so ridiculous that it compromises the president, or I end up on like right-wing watch or whatever for saying something absurd like, Ann and Bill, Mitchell and Dilly, they're crazy people. And they're dividing MAGA. Everybody talks about dividing MAGA. It's the most ridiculous phrase anyway. The true division of MAGA is between sane people and crazy people. And it's sad because the president's people have no intention of dividing MAGA. They don't want to have to clarify the crazy people because they don't want to lose their support. It's the number one rule of politics. No matter how nutso your people are, don't call them out for it unless they blatantly violate the law. And you have to insulate yourself against the press. So that's how the world works in politics. So you don't say stupid things like, well, if Q was really a fraud, then Trump would have come out and disavowed it. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Unfortunately, Trump is going to have to disavow it when somebody gets killed. For real, legit, no doubt about her, crazy person, inevitably it's going to happen. And then Trump's going to have to come out and go, listen, I don't know. These are crazy people. What do you want me to do? So that's the point. Accountability is on all sides. We owe it to ourselves as legit, sane Trump supporters not to just ignore when they keep moving goalposts and lying and all sorts of things like that. We should tolerate that no more than the Democrats tolerate it when our crazy people talk. They don't. So why should we? So that's my point. I'm not going to stop making it. Every time somebody is wrong, I'm going to call it out. That's how I'm going to roll. It's not going to end with this, but it doesn't begin with it either. So be happy, be sad, be mad, whatever. Don't be stupid. Don't say dumb things. And if you believe something for a second, and maybe you don't believe it, maybe you want to find out if it's real or not, check with me. We'll put this up on the MAGA Coalition website. Every time something happens like this, as unenviable of a task as it is, I will not only verify and debunk rumors as needed, but I will also hold myself and others accountable by when it is disproven. I will be on one way or another, and I will tell you who was wrong, and I will tell you if I think I know why they were wrong. That would be i.e. shilling. It's all about shilling. ABS. That's how they roll. Always be shilling. That's how it is. Whether it's spoons, whether it's fake coffee, that's how it rolls. Okay, I'm picking up. I gotta go.